So now that I have fallen down this rabbit hole, I just jumped onto Twitter's. And I got an alt Twitter where I pretend to be a MAGA guy. And I saw a live. And I am not kidding you. This dude, all these dudes these farmer dudes in there, these farm owner dudes, were saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back is basically what you were saying. That's what you thought. It's still going right now, and I'm not going to post a link to it because I don't want to give these people a voice. But they think they're in a safe space on Twitter. They're not.
If there are any Midwestern white farmers on this app, I need y'all to confirm this shit. Did y'all really think black folks was gonna work in those fields after y'all got rid of all the immigrants? y'all thought that we was gonna be working for y'all? Y'all on Twitter throwing it up, talking about Trump that took all the immigrants. We thought the black folks was gonna come work for us. I think the fuck not. I'm sorry, my ancestors didn't fight this fucking hard for me to get back in the sun, bitch. You got me fucked up. You better get all your little kids and get their asses some little sun hats and some visors and some sun cream and some suntan lotion and have them picking that goddamn vegetable. Y'all really wanted some indentured service, didn't y'all? That was not on my bingo card. Y'all really thought that shit? Y'all better go ask your daddy Trump to go get y'all people back. I said this shit during the election.
Them farmers really thought we was going back to them fields. They really thought we was going back to them fields. You know what? My mother was the first generation on her mother's side not to be brought up on a plantation. Not to be brought up on a plantation. That's what I said. My grandfather had a third grade education, but he left my mama 2 houses, property in the bank, property and money in the bank, with a third grade education. And guess what? He worked in fields. My great grandmother worked in fields and cut that cane just like a man. You hear me? And if you think that Eddie Lewis and Victoria C. Jones and all the rest of my ancestors bust their tail in them fields for us to go back to the fields, absolutely not. That's not progress. We're trying to heal from ancestral trauma. We're trying to heal from that. That ain't happening. That produce could rot in them fields before we go back to them fields. They need to let them know that.
Hey guys, welcome back to AfroJudy. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your support. White farmers are furious and rage that the black folks are not willing to work on their farms, and also the immigrant labor they depended on is now shrinking because of the ICE raids. The documented immigrants are even scared of getting out of their houses to go and work on those farms because right now ICE are arresting them forcefully. These white farmers, the same policies they voted for knowing that will benefit them, are now the same policies that's pinching them. They knew that perhaps black folks have no jobs and will easily accept working on those farms, not knowing that it will be the other way around. And they're also raised that the black farmers are not complaining about these policies affecting them. So guys, without further ado, let's dive in and watch these clips together. Credit goes to the original creators of the clips. I'm your host and presenter, Judy.
So I know I was talking about, the Latino vote before, the Viva vote for Donald Trump. Okay, well, let's get on to the white folks, the white farmers. So, word is out now that the white farmers voted for Donald Trump because they thought they were going to get black Americans in the fields. Because they also thought black folks did not have jobs. Yo. So when we put this all together, somehow the white farmers were convinced that black folks don't have jobs. We don't work. we don't work. And so they voted for Donald Trump because they thought, okay, he gonna send them in the fields. So Donald Trump and them, with the whole Project 2025, said, okay, so we got to make this happen. So we got to cut these DEI stuff, all this DEI stuff, to put black Americans out of work. When in reality, they put a bunch of white folk out of work just to get black folks out of work. And so all these cuts that are happening are to try and harm black Americans so much till they think that we're going to go into the fields. Now, when you think about that, that makes you double back and see why they want the Latinos out. Because the Latinos, right, to them, they are reproducing entirely too fast, okay? And so they're like, we got to get them out of here because black Americans don't reproduce as fast as the Latinos. And so if we could get them out, then the black Americans can take their place in the field. This is for real. And so now you double back to the black jobs. They're taking your job. Yes, you got to double back to what he said. They're taking black jobs, y'all. Like, they have all this down. Like, they have all this whole circle. So now let's go back to the farmers, if you're still with me, okay? Because the white farmers, that's what they believed was going to happen. So if y'all got all that straight, this is a message to the white farmers. The last thing you want is for black Americans to be in your fields. Don't let the devil fool you. As a matter of fact, you might want to let the devil fool you to see what's going to happen. Well, I'm trying to tell you, the last thing you ever going to want is black Americans in your fields. Nah, I'm going to let you fill in the blank on that one. And this goes to show that they will go to any lengths. Remember I said that, first of all, we had the Latinos, some Latinos, not all of them, just some Cuban ones, talk about you're next, right? To black Americans. So they thought we was immigrants, okay? And so now we have the white farmers who are still living in the 1700s, thinking back to glory days, quote unquote. They thought with their vote, we were going to the fields. So you got one group thinking they gonna kick us out of here, and you got another group of people thinking that we going to the fields. Now this right here is a real mental problem because people are literally stuck. I'm telling y'all, people are stuck in the 1700s when they think about black Americans, okay? I'm telling you, their thought process, they sit around probably campgrounds and picnics and stuff and talk about how can we make this happen? That was their heyday. I'm telling you, when that freaking plantation house burned down in Louisiana, I think, right? That was their heyday. Now, I'm trying to tell you, that was their heyday. When that plantation house down in Louisiana got torched, okay? I'm telling you, that broke them. But I just want to, I want to teach them a little bit more history if I have your attention, right? If I have your attention, right? This is some history that a lot of people don't know, okay? But y'all didn't know black Americans had white servants? Y'all ain't know that? I mean, it wasn't widespread or anything like that, but we had white servants. Yeah, and they wanted to be our servants because they needed work. They were coming over from Europe. Yeah, and they were docile too. Yeah, they were docile. And black Americans, the aristocrats, the wealthy ones, because there were wealthy ones, okay? They had white servants. So I don't know if y'all ever see them pictures. Let me find a picture. I couldn't find a picture. I wasn't gonna go back and try to find a picture. But if you can watch videos, you'll be able to find a picture of possibly some black people in the horse-drawn carriages, and there may be someone white as the horseman or the I'm not sure what you call them, coachman or whatever. Yeah, he worked for them. Yes, indeed. It was a big thing. It was a big thing, when everybody began to see in the early 1900s, what? Black Americans, they use the other word. Black Americans have white servants. Yeah, that's a bit of history they don't like to put on TV. And the reason for it is because they were like, okay, they had, white people here that they could hire. And they also had black people here that they could hire. But they felt that the white people from Europe were so docile, and they were less expensive. Now, they weren't the only ones who thought that. The wealthy white people thought that too. The wealthy white people were like, yeah, we like the docile immigrant white people. They're a lot cheaper. They take less money. Yeah, so there's a bit of history for you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was like that. Oh yeah, because they knew they would have to pay black Americans a lot more. Lot more. So they always went for the immigrant. And see, when the black Americans hired the white immigrants, they were like really like, yes, we will do it, yes, we will do it, because they want to stay in America. Here's the difference though. Black Americans didn't mistreat them. They didn't mistreat them at all. But anyway, that's just a little side note. But yeah, to the white farmers again, this is the last thing you want. The last thing you want is for black Americans to be out in your fields. The last thing you want. Trust and believe. And next time, you know what? Stop basing your vote on how to harm black Americans, because you're going to end up running into that wall that's going to tumble. Okay? That's what's going to end up happening. Stop doing that. All of you do it. Like, all of you. You had the conservative Asian Americans coming through with the whole Ivy League school. We don't want black Americans there. Then you had the I will vote for Donald Trump Cubans, okay, who were thinking, okay, you're next, okay? Okay, we're not immigrants, so we're not next. And now we have the white farmer who thought that they were going to get the black Americans in the fields. And then this is all off of Project 2025. So now look where you got America. Look where you got the United States of America. And a lot of people say, why black Americans think everything revolves around them? No, y'all think everything revolves around us because y'all make everything revolve around us. Y'all stuff coming out.
So y'all remember when it was said that we taking all the black jobs? They really thought that we was going to be looking for black jobs, y'all. And I woke up this morning, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I saw this guy made a video, and I saved it to my favorite, so you can go look for it. And he said he was pretending to be MAGA on one of those other apps. He said they were doing a live, and the farmers were saying that they thought that the black people would be looking for jobs to work on their farms. Now, you got to be kidding me. Do they think we really looking for farm work? Do they not know that we are educated and we got degrees? And being a farm worker ain't even in the jobs categories that we be looking for. They really don't know how educated some of us are. They don't know how many degrees a lot of us have. They got to be really lost if they think that we want to come and work on their farms. They don't know that our parents and our grandparents growing up wouldn't even let us be outside if it wasn't no shade outside. Do they really think that we gonna work on a farm where ain't no shade trees at? I hate to disappoint y'all, baby, but you gonna have to get somebody else to do it, because we ain't working on nobody's farm. Never. The only way you gonna see black people working on a farm is if they own the farm, because we not working on nobody's farm as no workers. So I hate to disappoint y'all. If y'all thought those was black jobs that black people looking for, honey, you better think again. Because black folks that I know got good jobs. We've had a black president. We had a black vice president. We got black senators. We got black congressmen. We got black CEOs. We got black doctors. We got black nurses. We got black psychiatrists. We got a lot of good black jobs. Now, I don't know what y'all thought we was going to be farm workers for. We don't even want to work in the fast food industry. Those jobs, we don't want those kind of jobs. So, I hate to disappoint you MAGA people, but we don't do farm work. So get somebody else to do it. I would like, share, comment, and repost. Drop in the comments y'all education and y'all good black jobs, because they don't think we got good black jobs out here. So we need to let them see it.
So guys, welcome back. These white farmers are so furious right now that the black folks are not willing to work on their farms. They knew that the black folks perhaps have no jobs and they will easily accept working on those farms under low minimum wage, not knowing that we are in the 21st century. We are not in the 20th century. And let's rewind back. After slavery, many black families became sharecroppers. They were left in no profit and huge debts. They fought for their lands in early 1920s and they owned over 15 million acres of land. But now in 2025, they own less than that. Reason being systemic racism, denied loans, land theft, and even racially biased USDA. This is what is killing the farmers in the United States. And there will be a lot of food crisis. There will be a lot of crime rate because of this. These white farmers also depended on the immigrant labor, but now it's shrinking. They voted for these policies. They knew very well that Trump is going to deport the undocumented immigrants. They didn't figure out that majority of their workforce come from the undocumented immigrants, yet they still went ahead and voted for it. Now there is ICE raids everywhere. These undocumented immigrants are being hunted down like animals. They are being detained. They are being deported back to their countries and even to countries they don't know. Some of the documented immigrants are even scared of getting out there because ICE doesn't care whether you are documented or undocumented. Especially the Latinos are feeling it right now. Now those farms of the white farmers, there are crops rotting there, no one to pick them. There is no one to take care of the cattle and the ranches. These undocumented immigrants did these kinds of jobs willingly, not forcefully. They were paid low minimum wage. They didn't complain because they knew whatever they wanted in the United States. And if this is what they wanted to do to the black folks are woke. They're not going to accept to be exploited the way ancestors were exploited. In fact, some of the white farmers are even furious that the black farmers are not complaining about the tough policies that's affecting farmers across the United States. They're even asking how the black farmers are doing it so that they can start doing the exact thing and thrive and succeed well. Well, they can ask the black farmers, but I think maybe they're not willing to share it out because the suffering they have undergone in the United States up to now, and they're still experiencing it. Imagine there are some things they are being denied, even the loans they are being denied, but the white farmers, they are being granted easily. So you think that if your ancestors suffered like that, like you knew very well they were exploited, do you think you are going to work there? That is the biggest question. And those white farmers, they should be asking themselves, what can we do to improve on some of the areas that people are claiming or complaining that were done to their ancestors? How can we improve on those areas so that they can trust us back again? Because without farms or farming in the United States, there will be food crisis. And you've seen the way tariffs is also affecting the small business owners. What's really going to happen? Already the grocery prices are so high, and they voted for cheap groceries. It was all a lie. They voted for DJT, knowing very well that the economy of the United States is gonna be cheap, but now, is it cheap? They wanted to make America great again. Is it great again yet? That is the question that they should be asking themselves. But now, being furious and rage that the black folks are not willing to work on their farms, I think that's the biggest mistake they are doing. You see, even the first clip of the video, that white folk was saying that those people were thinking that the black folks are gonna be their slaves again. We are not in those days. We are in the 21st centuries. People are woke. This is a woke generation, and they are not going to do that. They're not ready to be people's masters. I love when I heard that black woman saying that even some of the white folks were masters to the black folks, though they were not mistreated the way other black folks were mistreated, you know. That is the best part of history. So guys, if you're a black folk watching this video, are you willing to work on those farms of the white farmers? And if not, what's the reason that is making you not to work on those farms? And if yes, give us a reason. Let's keep the conversation going on the comment section, and also we can learn from each other. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Kindly give it a thumbs up, and if you're coming across this channel for the very first time, kindly consider subscribing. I'm your host and presenter, Judy. Let's meet on my next episode. Peace and love.